Good morning, children. Hope all are safe. Today we are going to start with chemical kinetics part 2. In part 1 of chemical kinetics, we have studied about what is rate constant, what is order, what is molecularity, what are the difference between them, what is rate constant unit, and what is the integrated rate equation for a first order reaction. And I gave some evaluation questions. Hope all would have completed those evaluation questions. If you did not do it, please complete it and proceed with this. Different reactions occur at different speeds. For example, burning of paper, you can compare it with burning of wood log. Which is very fast? Yes. Burning of paper occurs within a few minutes. But burning of wood log takes even long number of hours. By studying chemical kinetics, we can utilize it for our life. How? Doctors prescribe medicines based on the requirement of the body and the speed at which the medicine is assimilated to the body. For example, paracetamol, which is an antipyretic and analgesic, is given to us in 6 hours dosage. That means every 6 hours once we are asked to take a paracetamol tablet. So the study is called as pharmacokinetics. What is rate of a reaction? Disappearance of concentration of the reactant with time or appearance of concentration of the reactant with time. That is called as rate. What is first order reaction? A reaction whose rate depends on concentration of any one of the reactant is called as first order reaction. What is pseudo first order reaction? Conversion of a higher order reaction into first order reaction is called as pseudo first order reaction. How to convert a higher order reaction to first order reaction? We can convert a higher order reaction into lower order reaction by taking one or more reactants concentration in excess. For example, a second order reaction may be converted to first order reaction by taking one of the reactant concentration in large excess. If you consider the reaction between ester and water, that is ester hydrolysis in the presence of mineral acid. Ester hydrolyzes to give acetic acid and ethanol. We'll take methyl acetate. It hydrolyzes to give acetic acid and methanol. Now the rate of the reaction depends on concentration of both ester as well as water. Now it followed second order. We know that water will be taken in large excess. So there will not be any significant change in the concentration of water during the hydrolysis process. So what can we say? Water remains unchanged, or the concentration of water is almost constant. So what we do is we'll omit the concentration of water, or we'll multiply it with rate constant to become K dash. Now the calculated rate will be depending only on ester concentration. A higher order reaction, that is second order reaction, now became first order reaction. So second order reaction following first order kinetics is called as pseudo first order reaction. What is a first order reaction? A reaction whose rate depends on concentration of any one of the reactant. What is a zero order reaction? A reaction whose rate does not depend on the concentration of the reactant. A reaction in which the rate is independent of the concentration of the reactant over a wide range of concentration is called zero order reaction. That means reactant concentration will not affect the rate of the reaction, but such reactions are very rare. Let us consider a hypothetical reaction. Hypothetical reaction of A giving product. If we apply rate law for this, what do you write? Rate is equal to rate constant into concentration. But here concentration to the power 0. Why we are writing concentration to the power 0? Because it is a zero order reaction. The concentration will not affect the rate of the reaction. So rate is equal to K into A to the power 0. Also we know that rate is nothing but decrease in concentration of A with time. So rate is equal to minus dA by dt. Both the reactions are actually reaction for rate, equation for rate. So if we equate, we'll have minus dA by dt is equal to k into 1. Where do you get that 1 from? Anything to the power 0 is 1. So a to the power 0 is also 1. Minus dA by dt will be equal to k into 1. So you take this dt the other side, you will have minus dA is equal to k into dt. We are actually starting the reaction at 0th time, where the concentration of A, let it be A naught. After some time t, the concentration of A be A. Then we are integrating the equation minus dA is equal to k into dt within the limits. Then we'll have the equation minus integral A to A naught dA is equal to k integral 0 to t dt. Integral dA is nothing but A within the limits A naught to A will be equal to k into integral dt is t. We'll apply the limits 0 to t. If you simplify, we'll get upper limit minus lower limit. Minus of minus, it will become plus is equal to k into t. Because k into 0 will be 0, so we'll omit that. Now we'll interchange positive factor forward. So we'll have A naught minus A is equal to kt. Bring this t out down, you have A naught minus A by t as the rate constant for the zero order reaction. What is the rate constant value for a zero order reaction? A naught minus A by t is equal to k. So taking the t other side, you will have A naught minus A is equal to kt. Rearrange the equation. First you will have minus A will be equal to kt minus A naught. When you multiply by minus, you will have A is equal to minus kt plus A naught. This equation looks like equation of a straight line, which is like y is equal to mx plus c. So if you plot a graph by taking time in x-axis and concentration of A in y-axis, you will get a straight line with a slope of minus k value, and the intercept will be A naught, that is the initial concentration. What is half-life period of a reaction? The time taken to complete 50% of a reaction is called as half-life period of a reaction. The half-life period of a reaction is defined as the time required for the reactant concentration to reach one half of its initial value. For a first order reaction, this half-life period is independent of initial concentration. We can prove that by a derivation. For a first order reaction, the half-life period is a constant, that is, it does not depend on initial concentration. We know that the rate constant for the first order reaction is already we derived in volume, that is part 1. What is the value? K is equal to 2.303 by T log A naught by A. If time is T half, that is only 50% of the reaction is complete, then the concentration of A will be from initial concentration only half percent, 50% would have reacted. So initial concentration is A naught, will divide it by 2. So A value will be equal to A naught by 2. We'll substitute in the rate equation, that is rate constant equation K. K is equal to 2.303. In the place of T, we'll substitute as T half. Log A naught is same. In the place of A, we will substitute as A naught by 2. Take the 2 up. What will you get? A naught will get cancelled. K will be equal to 2.303 by T half log 2. What is the value of log 2? 0.3010. We'll multiply it with 2.303 divided by T half. So 2.303 into 0.3010 will give you 0.6932. So K value will be 0.6932 by T half. Or take this T half the other side, rate constant down, you will have T half is equal to 0.6932 by K. In this equation, if you see, the half-life period equation does not have any value of A or A naught. or A naught is not specified in this equation. That means half-life period of a first order reaction is independent of initial concentration. If you see this equation, T half is equal to 0.6932 by K. There is no concentration term. That means first order half-life period is independent of initial concentration. What is half-life period of a reaction? Time taken to complete 50% of the reaction is called as half-life period. For a first order reaction, the half-life period is independent of initial concentration. If you consider zero order reaction, the rate constant value is equal to K is equal to A naught minus A by T. If the time taken is T half, then the initial concentration is actually reactor only 50%. So we can say A value to be A naught by 2 at T is equal to T half. When T is T half, then the concentration of A will be only A naught by 2, because out of the entire reactant only 50% is reacted. So A naught by 2 will be the concentration of A at time T half. Now you substitute in equation K is equal to A naught minus A by T. You have K is equal to A naught minus, in the place of A we substitute as A naught by 2 whole divided by T half. Bring this to the other side. You have K is equal to 2 A naught minus A naught divided by 2 T half. 2 A naught minus A naught will become A naught by 2 T half. Take this T half the other side, bring K down. You have T half is equal to A naught by 2K. You can say here the half-life period of a zero order reaction is directly proportional to initial concentration of the reactant, because A naught is present in the numerator. T half of a zero order reaction is directly proportional to the initial concentration of the reactant. We derived rate constant for a first order reaction, rate constant for a zero order reaction, half-life period for a first order reaction, half-life period for a zero order reaction. Suppose if nth order is given, how to calculate the rate of the reaction or rate constant of the reaction? We know for nth order, the rate of the reaction will be dependent on K into A to the power n, or minus dA by dt will be equal to K into A to the power n. In such case, we can take the value of the equation to be 1 by A to the power n minus 1 minus 1 by A to the power n minus 1 will be equal to n minus 1 into Kt. Can be applied for any order of the reaction, provided n value should not be equal to 1. This equation can be used for any order, provided n value should not be equal to 1. You can apply this for second order, third order, any order. In order to calculate nth order half-life period, we use the equation T half is equal to 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1 whole divided by n minus 1 K into A naught to the power n minus 1. Here also n value should not be equal to 1. If you apply n value as 2, 3 or 4, you can calculate T half. Here is a problem to prove that T 99.9% is equal to 10 times T half. You know the value of T half is 0.6932 by K. Keep that in mind. T half is equal to 0.6932 by K. Here we will take the initial concentration of the reactant as 100. How much is reacted? 99.9%. So 100 minus 99.9 will give you concentration of A. So 100 minus 99.9 is nothing but 0.1. Now you substitute in the rate constant of first order reaction. K is equal to 2.303 by T log A naught by A. So K is equal to 2.303 by T 99.9 log A naught. In the place of A naught you should substitute 100. In the place of A you should substitute 0.1. So take the T 99.9 the other side, K down. You will have T 99.9 is equal to 2.303 by K log 100 by 0.1. You know 0.1 is nothing but 10 power minus 1. take 10 power minus 1 up, you will have 10 power plus 1, multiply it with 100, you will have 1000. So 2.303 by k log 1000 will be nothing but log 3, that is log 10 to the power 3. You bring 3 the other side, you will have 2.303 by k into 3. If you multiply, you will have 6.909 by k. You can simplify it as 10 into 0.69 will be equal to 6.909. So 10 into 6.9 by k, you know already 0.69 by k is nothing but T half. So T 99.9 is equal to 10 times T half. So far we were learning about speed at which a reaction takes place. Now we are going to study about how a reaction occurs. What is the cause for the reaction to occur? To explain that, we have two theories. One is called collision theory, which was proposed by McTross in 1916 and William Lewis in 1918. This collision theory is based on kinetic theory of gases. According to this theory, chemical reaction is the result of collision between two reacting molecules. If a reaction has to occur, two reactant molecules must undergo a process called collision. They must collide with each other. The reaction between two molecules like A2 and B2, if it has to occur, it proceeds through collisions between them. Then the rate will be proportional to the number of collisions per second. Rate is proportional to number of molecules colliding per liter per second. Number of molecules colliding per liter per second is called as collision rate. The number of collisions is directly proportional to concentration of the reactant molecules. The number of collisions is directly proportional to here the reactant molecules of or A2 and B2. So the number of collisions is directly proportional to concentration of A2 and B2. So we can write it as collision rate is proportional to A2 into B2 concentrations. To remove this proportional symbol, we have to introduce one constant called Z. So collision rate is equal to Z into A2 into B2. The collision rate is calculated from kinetic theory of gases for gases. For a gas at room temperature, that is at 298 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure, each molecule undergoes approximately 10 power 9 collisions per second. So for 1 second, it will undergo 10 power 9 collisions. If all the reactions, all the collisions are effective, then the reaction will complete within 10 power minus 9 second. If at all the collisions, that is 10 power 9 collisions per second gives product, then the reaction will complete within 10 power minus 9 seconds. But it is not happening in actual practice. That means all the collisions are not effective, leading to chemical reaction. All collisions are not effective to bring about chemical change. The collision which bring about the chemical reactions are called as effective collisions. For the collision to be effective, the reacting molecules must possess sufficient energy to break the bond, which is called as energy condition. The minimum energy possessed by the colliding molecules to bring about the chemical change is called activation energy. If you see the graph, the reactant molecules possess certain amount of energy, then the product has certain amount of energy, and you have a peak. There is a value given as EA, which is called energy of activation. So in order to react, the colliding molecules must possess a minimum energy called that activation energy. The molecules that collide with less energy than activation energy will remain intact as a reactant, and there will not be any reaction taking place. Those reactants which possess energy more than this energy of activation only can become product. So the minimum energy possessed by the colliding molecules to bring about the chemical change is called as energy of activation or activation energy. The fraction of effective collision is given by F, which is equal to e to the power minus EA by RT, where EA is the energy of activation, R is called gas constant, and T is temperature. The fraction of effective collision is given by F is equal to e to the power minus EA by RT. If you observe this graph, reactants are becoming product through a pathway. If the reactant has to become product, it must cross an energy barrier which is shown in the graph. The difference in energy between the energy of the reactant and the energy barrier is called as energy of activation. So, the molecule, reactant molecule must possess at least a minimum energy of EA, only then it can cross the energy barrier and can become product. So, if the EA value is less, then more number of reactant can become product, or rate of the reaction increases if the energy of activation is less. You can see the collision of two molecules AA and BB forming the products. They are colliding with each other in two different orientations. See what is happening. You must have observed in the previous picture that if the colliding molecules are approaching each other in proper orientation, they form the product. If they are improperly oriented, then they form the reactant. So, orientation factor is very important in deciding the product formation. If the orientation of the reacting molecules are proper, then they will collide to form the proper transition state. The reacting molecules collide in such a way that the orientation is proper, so that the old bonds are broken and new bonds are formed. Even if they have sufficient energy for collision, they will not form the products if the orientation of the colliding molecules are improper. We know that collision rate is equal to Z into A2 into B2. Also, we studied that fraction of effective collisions F is given by F is equal to e to the power minus EA by RT. Both these were the factors to determine rate of the reaction. Now we introduce one more factor which is called as orientation factor. So, in order to introduce orientation factor, we will take the symbol P, which is steric factor. So, the rate will be equal to P into F into collision rate. So, rate is equal to P into, in the place of F, we write e to the power minus EA by RT. In the place of collision rate, we will write as Z into A2 into B2. As per rate law, rate is equal to K into A2 into B2. Now, if you compare this fourth and fifth equation, both are the equation for rate. So, K into A2 into B2 will be equal to P e to the power minus EA by RT into Z into A2 into B2. A2 B2 gets cancelled. You will have rate constant value which will be equal to P Z e to the power minus EA by RT. Effect of temperature on reaction rate is given by Arrhenius equation. What is effect of temperature on reaction rate? You must have seen mom dissolving jaggery in water. Jaggery will dissolve slowly in cold water. But if she wants to dissolve it faster, she will start heating it. It will immediately dissolve. So, as the temperature increases, the rate of reaction also keeps on increasing. There are some exceptions also. The magnitude of rate of the reaction is different for different reactions. We can say that for every 10 degrees Celsius increase in temperature, the rate increases 2 times. For every 10 degree Celsius increase in temperature, the rate of the reaction increases twice. Can you see two different solutions in two different test tubes? But in both the test tubes, we are taking magnesium and phenolphthalein. In the first test tube, we add cold water, and in the second test tube, we are adding hot water. After few minutes, you can see that a pink color is developed in test tube 2. That means magnesium reacts faster with hot water than with cold water. Magnesium reacts with hot water to form a basic solution of magnesium hydroxide. So, you know that basic solution gives pink color with phenolphthalein. So the solution turned pink. But in the first test tube, because we added cold water, it does not react, which means reaction rate increases with increase in temperature. We are seeing effect of temperature on reaction rate, that is Arrhenius equation. So many reactions will occur even at room temperature, and many reactions will not occur at room temperature. For example, hydrogen gas and oxygen gas is around us. All of us agree, yes? Around us, hydrogen gas and oxygen gas are present. If at all they react at room temperature, then obviously always we will be drenching in water, because hydrogen and oxygen, they will react together to form water, so it will be always raining. But it's not happening so. Hydrogen and oxygen will react only when they are struck with an electric spark. Otherwise, at room temperature, they do not react. So certain reactions will occur at room temperature, and some other reactions will occur only at high temperatures. In order to study the reaction rate with varying temperature, Arrhenius suggested an equation which is called as K is equal to A e to the power minus Ea by RT. If they ask you in exam what is Arrhenius equation, you write it K is equal to A e to the power minus Ea by RT. That means rate constant is directly proportional to e to the power minus Ea by RT. Here A is called frequency factor, R is called gas constant, Ea is called the energy of activation, and T is temperature in Kelvin. What is Arrhenius equation? K is equal to A e to the power minus Ea by RT. Here A is called frequency factor, which is related to number of collisions per second, or it is related to frequency of collisions between the reactant molecules. It is a constant which is independent of temperature. And what is Ea? It is called as energy of activation or activation energy, which is the minimum energy that a molecule must possess in order to undergo chemical reaction. Arrhenius equation gives the temperature dependence of reaction rate. For every 10 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, the reaction rate doubles. Also, when the energy of activation decreases, rate constant value also increases. Actually, they are inversely proportional, we can say. In the equation, what is Arrhenius equation? K is equal to A e to the power minus Ea by RT. What is Arrhenius equation? K is equal to A e to the power minus Ea by RT is called as Arrhenius equation. If you are taking natural logarithm on both sides, we will have ln k is equal to ln a plus ln e to the power minus Ea by RT. Ln e to the power minus Ea by RT can be simplified as minus Ea by RT ln e. But we know that ln e is 1, so we can omit that. Then ln k will be equal to ln a minus Ea by RT. Now take 1 by t outside, the equation will become ln k is equal to ln a minus Ea by r into 1 by t. This equation looks like y is equal to mx plus c. Here, when you draw a graph between 1 by t in the x-axis and ln k in y-axis, you will get a straight line with a negative slope. What is the slope value from this equation? Yes, m value is minus Ea by r. We know that ln k is equal to ln a minus Ea by RT. If the rate constant of the reaction at two different temperatures is known, we can calculate energy of activation Ea. For example, if temperature at initial stage is T1 and rate constant is K1, then ln K1 will be equal to ln A minus Ea by RT1. If temperature is T2, then the rate constant is K2. In such case, the equation becomes ln K2 is equal to ln A minus Ea by RT2. When you subtract these two equations, you will have 2 minus 1, ln K2 minus ln K1 will be equal to ln A gets cancelled. You will have minus Ea by RT2, minus of minus will become plus Ea by RT1, or ln K2 by K1 will be equal to, take the constant term Ea by R outside, you will have Ea by R into minus 1 by T2 plus 1 by T1. We will interchange and write 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. We know that ln value is equal to 2.303 log. So, if you introduce this equation will become 2.303 log K2 by K1 will be equal to EA by R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2, or log K2 by K1 will be equal to, take this 2.303 the other side, EA by 2.303 R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. Okay. Using this we can calculate EA value. What are the factors affecting reaction rate? Reaction rate is affected by nature and state of the reactant, concentration of the reactant, surface area of the reactant, temperature of the reaction, and presence of catalyst. Nature of the reactant affects the rate of the reaction. We know that chemical reaction is nothing but breaking of bonds from a reactant and formation of new bonds in the case of product. The net energy involved in this process is dependent on the nature of the reactant. So, the rates are different for different reactants. You will be doing in volumetric analysis permanganmetry, that is, will take potassium permanganate in the burette and ferrous ammonium sulfate in the pipette, will add a test tube of sulfuric acid. If you titrate, you will get a pink color. There is no heat required when you treat potassium permanganate and ferrous ammonium sulfate. You will get at the end of the reaction a pale pink color. But the same reaction or same titration when done with potassium permanganate and oxalic acid, you have to heat it to around 60 degrees Celsius. That means oxalate ion reacts slower than ferrous ammonium sulfate. So, reaction rate depends on nature or state of the reactant. When lead nitrate solid is treated with potassium iodide solid, yellow coloration is developed only slowly. But the same reaction when done with aqueous lead nitrate and aqueous solution of potassium iodide, the yellow coloration is developed immediately, which means physical state of the reactant plays a vital role in deciding the rate of the reaction. If the reactants are in solid phase, then the reactivity is much slower. When the reactants are in liquid state, it is a bit faster, but if the reactants are in gaseous phase, they instantaneously react with each other. What is the effect of concentration of the reactants on reaction rate? Higher the concentration of the reactant, higher is the rate of the reaction. The reason is, if the concentration of the reactant is more, the number of possible collisions are higher, which in turn increases the rate of the reaction. Rate of the reaction is directly proportional to concentration of the reactant, because if the concentration is more, the possibility of effective collision will increase. What is the effect of surface area of the reactant on the reaction rate? You should have done in the lab the test for carbonate. You will take a carbonate salt, you will treat it with dilute hydrochloric acid. Brisk effervescence comes immediately. Take calcium carbonate in a test tube, add dilute hydrochloric acid, you will get brisk effervescence. But the same calcium carbonate, if it is not in the form of powder, instead if it is present in the form of solid rocky calcium carbonate or a marble stone, if you add dilute hydrochloric acid, it will not give effective effervescence, which means if the reactants are in the powdered condition, then the reactivity is higher. The reason is, if they are in the powdered state, they occupy more surface area. If the surface area occupied is more, then the number of collision between the reactant molecules will be higher, which in turn increases the rate of the reaction. So, if the surface area is higher, the rate of the reaction will also be higher. When calcium carbonate is treated with hydrochloric acid, we know that it gives brisk effervescence. Another form of calcium carbonate is marble. If you put it in dilute hydrochloric acid, even that will give effervescence, but the speed at which the formation of effervescence or completion of the reaction is very slow. If you see the graph, powdered calcium carbonate takes very minimum time to complete the reaction and it gives brisk effervescence of carbon dioxide. But the same with marble stone, the reactivity is slower. So if surface area is higher, the rate of the reaction will also be higher. What is the effect of catalyst on reaction rate? First we must know what is a catalyst. The catalyst remains unchanged during the reaction. It will not undergo any chemical change. It will decrease the energy of activation. If a reactant molecule has to become product, it has to cross the energy barrier which is called as energy of activation. The energy required for the reactant molecule should be greater in order to cross the energy barrier to become products. But if you add a catalyst, the catalyst will lower the energy of activation, and so more number of reactant molecule can become product. So what is the use of catalyst? Catalyst will decrease the energy of activation and hence more number of reactant molecule can become product. Catalyst is a substance which alters the speed of a reaction without itself undergoing any permanent chemical change. They may participate in the reaction, but they are regenerated at the end of the reaction. In the presence of a catalyst, what happens? The energy of activation is lowered and hence more number of molecules can cross the energy barrier and can become product. And hence when you add a catalyst, the rate of the reaction increases. In this video, we have learnt what is zero order reaction, what is the integrated rate equation for a zero order reaction, half-life period for a first order rate equation, half-life period for a zero order reaction, then zero first order reaction, temperature dependence of reaction rate, collision theory. Here are some of the evaluation questions which you are supposed to answer. The first question is derive integrated rate law for a zero order reaction. Define half-life period. Show that first order reaction half-life is independent of initial concentration. Explain the effect of catalyst on reaction rate with an example. Explain briefly the collision theory of bimolecular reactions. Write Arrhenius equation and explain the terms involved. Explain pseudo first order reaction with an example. I hope all of you will write this as test. Please do it. Thanks for watching. Wait for part 3 of chemical kinetics. Part 3 will contain problems in chemical kinetics. If you like this video, share and subscribe. Thank you.